Hello friends, welcome to the channel IT Simplified. In today's video in Azure, I'm here to talk about different routing options that Azure provides. So as you know that Azure has a massive infrastructure. As we talk today, they have 60 plus region with thousands of miles of fiber optics deployed. And what they have done is so that we are able to consume these services, they have strategically placed different POPs or points of presence. So in case you're trying to access any resource, any place in the world, you are able to use maybe Microsoft Backbone to access this. So that will give you better performance and least latency. But when we talk about accessing these resources, there are certain couple of other options that Azure has, and that is what I want to talk about. So one option is obviously you can use Microsoft Backbone Network, and other one more option you can use is ISP network. And how that will impact the performance and the cost, that is the idea about this session is that. So say for example, I am closer to Canada, and if I deploy a resource, say in India, let's say I deploy a storage account here. And when you deploy a storage account, as you know, that a public endpoint is created for you. So this is a storage account which, as a user, I'm trying to access, and I'm sitting over here. So one option is I can go to the nearest point of presence and then take the Microsoft network, and my inbound connection will be all the way for majority of time will be on the Microsoft backbone. And same thing when I'm coming out, it will still remain on the Microsoft network, and then I will go to my ISP at that point, and then I'll be able to access that storage account, which is the first option. And then there is also another option, which is the ISP network. So I can be on, I have a modem and a router at my place, right? And rather than going on the Microsoft network, majority of the time my traffic will be hopping on the ISP networks, right? And when I reach somewhere close to India, then I can take the route point of presence. And at that time, I will enter the Microsoft Backbone network, and then I'll be able to access. And same thing going backwards, right? This is a major difference between the two. So how does that impact the performance and the cost? So one thing is that, as you can see, the reason why Microsoft has strategically put these POPs across is that they want to give you better performance. So if you take the Microsoft Backbone network, expect to get a better performance. So you will have better performance when you are using Microsoft network, but the cost going to be on a higher side. So you need to take into perspective, depending upon what services you're trying to access, there can be a trade-off. Are you ready to compromise on the performance? So two things. So, and just to keep into perspective in terms of cost, for example, and I'm talking about Canadian dollar, and don't quote me on the pricing exactly. If I'm trying to maybe retrieve 1 terabyte of data, and as you know that putting there is no ingress charges with any public cloud, there are egress charges, right? So 1 terabyte of data, it is close to $114 versus $104. So 114 for Microsoft Backbone in case I'm putting the data on their network, and 104 on the ISP network. And if I increase this number, say to 100 terabyte, it is close to 10K versus 8K. So maybe for small customer that won't have an impact, but for bigger customer, I think that price going to be on a high side, especially from the egress perspective I'm talking about, right? So you need to choose what will be the right option for you. So hopefully that was clear. So there are two options, and you might heard about the Microsoft Backbone network is also referred to as a cold potato, and the ISP network is also referred to as hot potato. So that's the term that Microsoft uses. So let me show you actually on the Azure portal site. I'm going to search for, say, storage account. And I think I already have one. So I'm going to use this example. I am WBD SA. And if I go under networking, you'll see the routing preference. By default, when you create, by default, it is a Microsoft network routing, but you can change the default and you can go internet routing. And that is the ISP network I was talking about. So this will be obviously have higher latency as compared to this one, but depending upon, again, how you want to manage it performance wise in the cost perspective, you want to choose one over the other. But something to point out, so this is one example of storage account. Let me also give you an example with a public IP. So if I try to go and create a new public IP, same thing, I can use the routing preference. I can either go with the Microsoft network or I can go with the internet one. Something to point out, this is only applicable for IPv4 addresses as of right now, and only for the standard SQ, not for the basic. So you can see, depending upon what routing preference you take, it will have impact on the performance and also to a certain extent on the cost. And based on the scenario that you're trying to solve and how you want to manage, you can choose one over the other. So this was a quick video on Azure routing option. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.